As far back as Crucible of War, warrior players have faced a dilemma: carry 2 blades or 1 big stick. And while the two-handed weapons have had their days, one-handed weapons and, by analogy, the dual-swing warrior builds have proven themselves to be consistently superior. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. In Flesh and Blood, the warrior class is defined by its powerful weapon combat and an intricate dance of attack reactions. And while every warrior of course brings their own unique playstyle, a fundamental choice shapes their strategy, wielding a single, formidable two-handed weapon, or swinging with a pair of swift, one-handed blades. A two-handed weapon excels at delivering concentrated bursts of damage, aiming to break through defenses with sheer power and well-timed reactions. They prefer to dictate the pace of play with impactful swings. A dual-wielding warrior thrives on relentless, consistent pressure, leveraging multiple attack opportunities to chip away at an opponent's resources and life total. They prefer to spread their threats across the combat chain. Each, of course, offers distinct advantages and strategic considerations that cater to different playstyles. But in modern-day Flesh and Blood, the dual-swing weapon builds have proven themselves to be far superior. And it's for one simple reason: the game plans are easier to execute consistently across the wider meta. To set the stage for this argument, let's fall back to Welcome to Rathe and look at one of the foundational warrior cards, Warrior's Valor. Warrior's Valor is a 1-cost action that gives your next weapon attack increased power, 3, 2, or 1 depending on pitch. But more importantly, it imparts Go Again on hit. This card is a staple in a deck like Dawnblade Dorinthea, who looks for multiple swings in the same turn. It provides a way to get extra swings and momentum on a turn, but the conditional nature of its Go Again effect means that the opponent can still prevent a second attack by successfully blocking the first. And this translates to a direct loss of both value and opportunity. Resources and cards held back to support the second swing are unused, left wasted, or the resources and cards spent to react and force the hit may mean that nothing is left over to support another swing. Now, obviously in Dawnblade Dorinthea, not getting the Go Again rarely matters, since you cannot swing again anyways without a hit. But in a dual swing build, this is a massive blow. The trade-off of lower attack weapons is you can come in with multiple attacks. Not enabling the second swing functionally invalidates the bulk of your strategy. Enter then a card like Spoils of War. Spoils of War is a 1-cost action that gives your next weapon attack plus 2 power and Go Again, as well as on-hit effects to create copper. At its core function, Spoils of War trades 1 power on the standard 1-3 curve for the guaranteed Go Again. For a dual swing build, this is just functionally better, being able to present multiple attacks that are independent of hits or blocks. It offers a much more consistent, even build that can present constant pressure. The non-hit dependent nature of the dual swing build allows them to lean into functionally awesome cards like Blade Runner or Run Through. While yes, Blade Runner is limited to one-handed weapons, Run Through is not, yet primarily still sees play within the one-handed build. Now, like anything in Flesh and Blood, this boost in consistency does come with a trade-off. Dual swing builds don't necessarily offer the same net raw potential value as a single swing build. As per our previous example, a Dawnblade Dorinthea is threatening 9 off of a 2-card hand, Valor, and a blue. But again, that value can be covered at a raw level with 6 block. Compare that to a dual Cintauri Saber build off of a red Blade Runner. That particular 2-card hand only threatens a raw of 7. But because of the non-dependency of the swings, not to mention the threat of the Cintauri +1, it takes more than 6 block to shut it down. So while there's no denying that the raw damage offered by a dual swing build is indeed lower, the consistency and non-dependent multiple attacks makes up for this. Dual swing builds offer more consistent damage output, being more resilient to single card blocks. While individual attacks may indeed be smaller, the cumulative pressure of multiple attacks can be harder for an opponent to block fully, allowing for chipping away at both their hand and life total. It's harder for an opponent to block out an entire turn when there are 2 separate distinct weapon attacks, each requiring a separate defense commitment. While one potential weakness of a front pump type build is, first, card intensivity, The largest risk to these builds is a vulnerability to value-efficient defense reactions. An unmovable or a staunch response can negate several cards worth of setup with just a single permanent card. Even though the Decimator Great Axe can punish single card blocks, because it is forced to apply the penalty to the first defending cards, it allows for a play around and relatively efficient blocking, assuming wise play. If an opponent can consistently block a large, card-intensive two-handed weapon attack with minimal cards, the turn can then feel very inefficient, leading to a lot of all-or-nothing type turns. Moving even beyond the advantages highlighted by the Warrior's Valor example, the true strength of the dual swing build lies in more than just not being hit dependent. The dual swing supporting card suite is just fundamentally stronger in terms of value. In the Swing offers the same functional value as does the OG Warrior reaction Iron Song Response, but trades the restriction of Reprise for the restriction of the second swing. But in terms of practical use, with a dual swing build, In the Swing is a far superior card, always able to be played regardless of what the opponent does. Well, one can certainly argue, well, a two-handed build wouldn't play In the Swing. Yes, that is generally correct, but also serves to support the overall point. Two-handed builds can't guarantee the second attack and thus don't have equal opportunity to massively efficient cards like In the Swing and Slice and Dice, instead falling back to more fundamental cards that don't offer the same upside. The tools available to the dual swing package are far, far superior in terms of both fungibility and ease of play. A prime example of this is Unsheathed, a relatively new addition to the Warrior package. At a cost of 0 resources, Unsheathed gives +3 power to your next sword attack and gives Go Again if, at the time of attacking, the weapon has greater power than twice its base. For one-handed swords that have a base attack of 2, this card is absolutely nutso. 0 cost, +3, Go Again. Unsheathed makes Warrior's Valor look like draft chaff, and in my Quicksilver Prodigy deck that doesn't care about copper, it sidelined even longtime staple Spoils of War. Now to be fair, there's little reason for even a two-handed sword not to run Unsheathed. Even at its worst, it is a strictly better Sharpened Steel. But there's no denying that dual swing builds get far, far more mileage out of this card with basically no restriction. And then of course, let's not forget the elephant in the room, Valiant Dynamo. Dynamo is a legendary rarity warrior equipment leg piece sporting Battle-Worn 1. But at the beginning of your end phase, if you've attacked 2 or more times with weapons this turn, you may remove a -1 defense counter from the Dynamo. All things being equal, Valiant Dynamo may be the primary reason why dual swing warrior builds are often superior to two-handed builds. Effectively extracting 1 additional value from a weapon-based Go Again, Valiant Dynamo provides a refreshable 1 equipment block, helping to cover breakpoints and to disrupt consecutive hit chains like with Mask of Momentum. The potential value extracted from a Valiant Dynamo over the course of a game can be substantial, and it can push it well above what would be expected from a start-and-play, stay-and-play equipment piece, especially in the leg slot. As we discussed at length earlier, dual swing builds thrive and survive on the Go Again in multiple attacks. A dual swing deck's ability to remove a counter each turn effectively turns the equipment into a reusable defensive piece, as long as you're able to keep up your offensive pressure. And this is a luxury that single swing builds do not have. Decimator builds cannot enjoy the constant Dynamo refresh, and even Dawnblade Dorinthea, who strives for that second attack, still leans into her trusty refraction bolters. There of course exist advantages and disadvantages of both one-handed and two-handed weapons, but dual swing builds tend to excel because they are just flat out easier to run. Now, there of course exists a warrior hero who can enjoy the advantages of both sides, and that is Dorinthea Quicksilver Prodigy, a hero who, currently at least, exists only in Blitz. Quickie P, as I affectionately call her, is effectively a dual swing warrior, but with the same weapon. Her ability to give her single weapon, Dawnblade Resplendent, a second attack whenever it gains Go Again, effectively lets her act as a dual swing warrior in terms of not requiring a hit for a second swing. While Dawnblade Resplendent is a two-handed weapon that thus does not synergize with cards like Blade Runner that specifically target one-handed weapons, from all other aspects, Quickie P enjoys the same benefits as being a dual swing warrior. Quickie P can get in 2 swings in a turn with a single weapon, but because it is a single weapon, she's able to leverage cards that other dual swing builds can't, like Steelblade Supremacy, which imparts its strong ability to a weapon for the turn. This makes Quick EP incredibly powerful, as she can have the same consistent pressure of a dual swing build, while also having the high potential value of a single swing build. From many aspects, Dorinthea Quicksilver Prodigy benefits from the best of both worlds, combining into a very effective and efficient hero. She brings the best cards from the two-handed pool into the superior dual swing style. Perhaps one day, Dorinthea Quicksilver Champion will grace the tables of Classic Constructed. But until then, dual wields will likely continue to lead the way for our warriors within Classic Constructed. While single swing builds have their merits, dual swing builds offer a superior and more flexible approach to the game. A dual swing hero presents a far more complex and dangerous puzzle. The opponent must contend with the possibility of 2 separate consecutive attacks, which often forces the opponent to make difficult decisions. A dual swing build presents a far more complex and dangerous puzzle. The opponent must contend with the possibility of 2 separate consecutive attacks, which often forces that opponent to make difficult decisions. The constant pressure on the opponent's resources and decision-making makes this a dominant strategy. The strategic depth and resource efficiency of dual swing builds in Flesh and Blood make them the superior choice. By allowing a hero to threaten 2 attacks that are not hit-dependent, these builds force opponents into difficult defensive positions, often skirting a single defense reaction or outmaneuvering a 2-card block. This constant pressure, combined with the ability to generate wider damage for the same pitch, solidifies dual swing builds as the most flexible and dominant strategy. At least, for now. Let me know what you're thinking, my warrior friends. Thanks for watching, and go Commando.